Who hasn't dreamed of a cozy house in the mountains? But few people realize just how dangerous it can be. Tons of soil and massive boulders can come crashing down the slopes at any moment, wiping out everything in their path. You'll see that and so much more in today's Top Rockfalls and Landslides compilation. Looking at Montenegro's serene, peaceful landscape, it's hard to imagine it being wiped out in under 30 seconds. But that's exactly what happened here. The people of India are always prepared for nature to surprise them out of nowhere and know exactly which places to avoid after the rain. The most dangerous road in the world winds through the Himalayas, where you can never predict what's around the corner. Like, say, an 80-ton rock slide. Honestly, it's no surprise this road is practically deserted. Colombians are no strangers to close calls. This landslide came incredibly close, but left the road intact and everyone unharmed. For professional road builders, this is the best part of the job. Big bada boom. When the ground starts trembling, the workers knew something was up. They abandoned the bridge just in time, leaving only an empty excavator behind to take the hit. All the prep work finally paid off, and the pros got to enjoy the grand finale. A flawless, controlled explosion. In the village of El Yolo, nature put on an unforgettable show of landslides and rockfalls. Luckily for the locals, they were already evacuated and can now watch the drama from a safe distance on our channel. It takes months of hard work to carve a tunnel through a mountain, but nature can undo it all in less than a minute. I'm glad that at least no one was harmed. I'm grateful when nature gives a warning first. A small rockfall might seem harmless, but it's often a sign of something bigger on the way, giving people enough time to move to safety. We tend to think of mountains as permanent and unshakable, but these videos prove just how fragile they can be when Mother Nature decides to take over. Indonesia's lush, humid climate has its downsides, especially during the rainy season. My advice? Avoid traveling there during this time of year. I'm always amazed at how workers can calculate demolitions down to the millimeter. And sure, they train for this, but it still feels like they're doing magic outside Hogwarts. When things don't go as planned, staying calm and thinking fast is key. Just like this worker who managed to stay out of harm's way thanks to quick reflexes. Some people use dynamite or excavators to demolish old bridges. Others just wait for Mother Nature to take care of it. Watching nature destroy acres of forests in mere moments is heartbreaking. All we can do is stand back, stay safe, and hope for the best. The last thing you want is to find yourself in the middle of a Himalayan rockfall with a boulder weighing as much as 10 trucks coming right at you. I'm just glad no one fell victim to this monster. Mountain workers rely on 80% skill and 20% pure luck. Unfortunately, the excavator ran out of luck this time, but at least no one was inside. People often ask, how does the cameraman know when a landslide's about to happen? It's simple. If you live in the mountains long enough, you learn to recognize when nature's about to throw a tantrum. Southern Colombia came to a standstill when heavy rains prompted nature to reshape the landscape. But the residents around here are used to this kind of thing, so they evacuated ahead of time. When a small rockfall starts, there's always a chance that it could escalate into a massive landslide. By some miracle, the truck managed to win the race this time. It takes hundreds of thousands of years for the tectonic plates to grow a mountain like this, but just 30 seconds to make it shorter. No, your eyes aren't playing tricks on you. This is a genuine river of rocks formed by a landslide flowing straight into a mountain stream. A river of rocks is one thing, but a hailstorm of boulders as an entire cliff collapses? That's next level. Good thing these people kept their distance. These brave professionals are relocating boulders into the ocean to ensure they won't come crashing down on unsuspecting roads anytime soon. Who would have thought that one of the most important jobs for Indian police is keeping people away from landslide-prone areas? It's a thankless task, but it saves lives. This unfinished road seemed like a great idea until nature made it clear she wasn't on board. Sometimes it's better to just take the hint. Here's probably the biggest and most destructive landslide in this compilation. Thankfully, residents were warned and evacuated in advance. The scariest thing about landslides is how unpredictable they are. This cliff stood tall for thousands of years, and now there's barely a trace of it left. Clearing away massive boulders after a landslide is tough work, but there's something oddly satisfying about seeing it in action. Every time I watch Mother Nature unleash her power up close, it leaves me breathless. If you've ever been in a situation like this, share your story in the comments. If you ever find yourself in India in a situation like this, your best bet is to get out as fast as possible. It's much safer to watch these events from the comfort of our channel. If there had been a chance of surviving the previous rockfall, this one offers no such hope. It's a miracle no one was in harm's way. Living in Nepal means always being ready for landslides, and no one better than to promise anyone you'll be on time for work. This rockfall had these cows feeling like they were in an action movie. Don't worry though, they weren't hurt. A small rockfall was enough to warn the cameraman to get out of there, and he did just that. Always follow that instinct. You know, you have a lot in common with all these people. You can't believe that a landslide is capable of turning part of a city into this in just an hour. But what's important is that there were no casualties. This landslide deserves the title of the most satisfying collapse in history. If you agree, give this video a thumbs up. What's the hardest part of being a mountain worker? I'd say staying calm when bystanders get too close and making sure they don't end up in harm's way. I can't decide what's more impressive, the expertly planned controlled explosion or those colorful trucks. I knew water was powerful, but terraforming a coastline like that is just mind-blowing. It seems like nature has a message for gold miners. She's not happy about them disturbing her peace. Better leave before she gets really angry. Being near a massive rockfall without getting hurt feels like stepping straight out of a disaster movie, but I doubt these drivers enjoyed the experience. These guys spotted the landslide just in time to get to safety. But it'll be months before this road is passable again. Right now, you're witnessing a unique boulder race. Personally, I think the first one was more impressive. How about you? In areas without large trees to hold the soil together, large-scale landslides happen more often. Maybe it's time we started paying closer attention to this problem. Think a landslide can't bring joy? Look at these pros. They're thrilled everything went exactly as planned. An excavator was hard at work when suddenly... Wow, what a hit! Good thing machines can't feel pain. Human creations are no match for Mother Nature when she decides it's time to rearrange the landscape. This might look like a scene from Dune, but it's actually the daily grind for salt miners, doing their best to avoid landslides while collecting their haul. This isn't exactly the view you want to wake up to, but the important thing is everyone found shelter in time and stayed safe. Don't worry, these people see rockfalls almost every day and know exactly what to do in these situations. The number one rule during a rockfall: stay far away. But if you're in a safe spot with a good view, you've got a front row seat to one of nature's most spectacular shows. Have you ever seen an excavator bowling with a massive boulder? Judging by the number of fallen trees, I'd call that a strike. Even something as terrifying as a landslide can be mesmerizing because of its incredible power. Can you imagine the skill it takes to sit in an excavator perched on a cliff and nudge a boulder so precisely? In just a matter of seconds, nature brought life in this mountainous region in India to a standstill. Thankfully, no one was hurt. This video shows exactly why you should never work in the mountains after a heavy downpour. While you might complain about branches on the road, people in India would gladly take those over the kind of landslides they have to deal with. Love extreme adventures? Welcome to Nepal, where landslides can turn a lush green hillside into a giant crater in moments. Luckily, no one was harmed. You don't always need Mother Nature's wrath for a stunning show in the mountains. Sometimes all it takes is a few tons of dynamite and a team of experienced pros. These daredevils waited hours for a natural landslide to start after hearing it might happen soon. And guess what? They got what they came for. Next time, though, they might want to sit a little further back. This green paradise looks like the perfect tourist destination, until you see something like this landslide. A bustling megalopolis suddenly doesn't sound so bad, does it? Mountain roads in Nepal aren't controlled by road services, they're controlled by landslides. This one just closed a road for the next few weeks. You know what landslides are best at? Changing landscapes. What was once a roaring river under this cliff is now gone. This massive landslide in Pakistan could be seen from kilometers away. In just 10 seconds, hundreds of tons of earth and trees came crashing down. Thankfully, the nearby village was spared. You've gotta admire the resilience of people who work under such harsh conditions, putting their lives on the line every day. The devastating 2022 floods in Pakistan turned the entire country into an extreme obstacle course. Not only did landslides reshape the landscape, they forced people to abandon their homes and start from scratch. I'm no expert on mountain roads, but it seems like they could be restored after a rock fall like this. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Now, check out every climber's worst nightmare from up close. Luckily, none of them were hurt. Rocks basically become shrapnel when they fall from this high, so if you ever see something like this, follow these people's example and run. Now, don't miss something even rarer than a rock fall. A glacier collapse. Sometimes you just can't look away from a hypnotizing landslide. Just make sure you're standing in a safe place like this cameraman was. A few more landslides and this cliff with a rocky shoreline will turn into a sandy beach. Even the smallest mud flow in the mountains can transform a slope into a waterfall of rocks and dirt. Check out this mudslide, or should I say, an unstoppable mud tsunami sweeping trees away like matchsticks. And this is why you should never stand too close to the edge of even the most innocent-looking cliffs. Watch how easily this mud flow carries gigantic boulders, and you'll understand why they make people so nervous. It's wild to think that something this massive could start because of a single pebble. Sometimes hikers don't even have to climb a mountain to get a rush of adrenaline. Seeing a landslide like this in person just once is enough to give you a lifelong fear of hiking in the mountains. Think you're looking at a mountain road? Nope. That's a dead end. This landslide that happened right over a road could have been a tragedy, but luckily no one was driving there at the time. It's hard to believe, but what you're looking at used to be a mountain road in India until this colossal landslide wiped it out. Check out this clip and remember, there's more to worry about on mountain roads than just the speed limit. Thankfully, everyone was safe this time. This road was preemptively closed due to a possible landslide, and as you can see, for good reason. It turns out snow-covered mountains have more than just avalanches to surprise you with. How about jaw-dropping rock falls? This is what happens after heavy rains in the Italian mountains. This cameraman froze when he saw these massive, slow-moving boulders. Luckily, everyone kept their distance, but if you ever find yourself in this situation, get out of there. How long do landslides like this last? The thing is, one worker needs to pick up his excavator at the end of his shift, but it seems to be right in the middle of it. Luckily, no one was inside when this happened. This enormous rockfall shook the ground beneath the cameraman's feet, even though he was standing 100 meters away. Imagine working on a road crew only to have a rockfall happen right above your head. Luckily, these workers got their second birthdays that day. This wasn't your average landslide. Half a mountain collapsing seems like it deserves its own word. Got any ideas? Drop them in the comments. If you see a couple of small rocks falling off a cliff, don't stick around, because a few seconds later, this could happen. A slow-moving landslide may look harmless, but don't let its speed fool you. It can still knock down trees like they're nothing. Congratulations, you're about to witness a giant landslide relocate an entire lake. Have you ever seen a rockfall turn into a landslide that causes a full-on mountain collapse?
Oh my god.
Well, now you have. When a landslide happens just meters away from people without hurting anyone, I think it's safe to say that fate was on their side. Check out this massive rockfall in India that took half a cliff with it. This landslide in Taiwan feels like it's never gonna stop. You could watch it for hours. This landslide let the trees feel like surfers riding a wave for a few seconds. It's amazing how even a massive boulder couldn't withstand the sheer power of this landslide. Drivers on mountain roads are always looking up the slopes, not to admire the view, but to be ready to act if they see something like this. The cameraman thought he'd already captured an impressive landslide, but the next 30 seconds proved him wrong. Now that's a shot! This cliff gets smaller every year when heavy rains hit the area for days on end. The drivers of this truck didn't even have time to panic before realizing how lucky they were. Seems like the cameraman did all the sweating for them. Wait, don't turn off the video. You're not hallucinating. This slope is actually moving. Bus drivers in the mountains have seen it all, but after this sudden landslide, even they might need a vacation and some therapy. Time for these people to change their underwear, but at least everyone walked away unscathed. In the mountains, you can never be 100% punctual. Any given road could disappear in a matter of seconds. Call it a rock avalanche, a flash flood, or a landslide, whatever the name, one thing's for sure, it is scary as hell. Mountains are one thing, but no one expects a landslide to strike in the middle of town, until it does. Not all landslides happen instantly. For example, this one started back in 2014 and is still going. Just a couple of days of rain can wash away soil from even the calmest river and turn it into an unstoppable landslide. Don't worry, though, residents were evacuated in advance. This enormous rockfall was caused by the collapse of a mountain peak. Can you imagine the speed of those rocks tumbling down? Sometimes, a simple rockfall can trigger a landslide that evolves into a full-blown mountain collapse. If you're a tourist with poor eyesight, you might mistake this for a mountain waterfall. Just don't get too close, or you'll find out the hard way that it's not. You've seen massive landslides and mountain collapses, but you've definitely never seen the aftermath of Godzilla sneezing. This is how the life cycle of a rock slowly comes to an end. Oh, by the way, if this is the only road out of this mountain town, those drivers are in for a long wait. Oh, wait, what do you call a landslide on a sand mountain? A sand slide? Seeing the mess a rockfall can create on a road makes you wonder if it would just be faster to build a new one. Hey, slow down. Can't you see a landslide is crossing the road? Better find another way home. This one's in no hurry. Judging by the size of the rock piles, these drivers have already been waiting quite a while for this slow-moving landslide to stop. Looks like they'll have to wait a bit longer. This excavator arrived to clear the road after a rockfall, but apparently the mountain decided to add a little overtime to their shift. You've probably figured out why this entire mountain is covered in dust, but even after all these clips, you can't imagine the scale of the landslide that caused it. When a rockfall happens on a snowy mountain, it creates an avalanche of rocks, dirt, and snow. You know how to turn a river into a lake? Just wait for a landslide like this to do its thing. You're looking at a small mountain stream right now. Oh, you can't find it? Well, that's because a landslide has mixed with it, resulting in a muddy waterfall. Not even decades-old roots can withstand a landslide. They just aren't strong enough. I promise, this is the last road turned dead end in today's compilation. Turns out this beach has something more impressive to offer than surfers and seagulls. And now you know why beautiful beaches like this aren't packed with people. And that's it for today. Have you ever seen anything like this in real life? If so, tell us where and what it was like in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.